been a minute, everybody. How y'all doing? It is your boy, Who Dat Davis here for you. And as always, if you don't know, you will know over here. We bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. And thank you for joining me for today's edition of the Black and Gold Breakdown Podcast, B&G, up in this house. The New Orleans Saints are doing their due diligence as the 2023 NFL Combine. The DBs, as we speak, are doing their drills, and the Saints are doing their homework on this year's quarterback class from Tune, not just Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, but also the younger guys like Tanner McKee, like I said, Tune, Will Levis, guys like that may fly under the radar and may be up for grabs for the New Orleans Saints. But they're also doing their homework in the free agent market, i.e., Derek Carr, who was released a little while back from the Las Vegas Raiders. He is a free man, free to sign with any team he so chooses as early as today, right now, pen to paper. He is doing his due diligence and making sure he goes to the right situation for him. What kind of team would be willing to sign him? The New Orleans Saints have been one of them, along with mentions of the New York Jets and the Carolina Panthers. No other teams as of this point have been noted to be linked to Derek Carr in terms of being interested. The New Orleans Saints, as of this moment, are to put pen to paper, ready to get Derek Carr in the building. Now, that is all fine and good. I can respect the fact that the Saints are making sure no stone is left unturned when it comes to the most important position in all of sports, not just football, but basketball, baseball. It is the most coveted position out there, as far as I'm concerned, as far as many others in the NFL media and sports media are concerned. But here is the big but. If that is to be the case, if Derek Carr is going to be the starting quarterback, even the quarterback for the foreseeable future for the New Orleans Saints, they need to do Jameis Winston a favor and let that man go. Let him sign to another team that is looking for a quarterback, a starting caliber quarterback like Jameis Winston, because honestly, the Saints are doing him dirty. What I mean by that, we'll get into it and a little bit extra on today's episode of B&G Breakdown Podcast. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, for following in. And we got a couple of familiar faces here. We got OG to Derek. We've got Chosen and Brian. What's going on, guys? Happy to see you. We got Elite Goods, too. You guys, as always, I love doing this content for you guys. A lot to update you on personally. I, for starters, have got a new phone. This is the brand new Samsung Galaxy S23 Plus. I have finally upgraded from the old iPhone SE from Boost Mobile, and I've gone to the dark side. I finally got the switch from iPhone to Android, and I've honestly noticed a pretty big difference. It's actually been really convenient. I can actually do some content off my phone now. The price is going to be up there. I am with Verizon, but hey, Verizon is Verizon. I just rely fast. It gives me what I need. So I'm happy that so far I haven't had too many issues with Verizon, other than yesterday, the whole network thing went down when my activation fee was trying to go through. So other than that, I've had no issues. The phone's been great. Performance has been great. Content from my phone is going to be coming lively. So look forward to that. It's going to be actually pretty fun, right? This phone is godsend. I now understand why people have made the hype to saying this is going to be the best decision I ever made. It's very, very cool. On top of that, I have got a new job. I've got a new job working at Black Sports Online. If you guys don't know what that is, it is a Black-owned website. My employer is named Robert. He stays over in California. Robert has been giving me, stuff to write about, stuff to write articles about, similar to what I was doing with AB Dash, but unfortunately, due to events starting from late last year, this year, The site has been sold off to a company up in Canada, so I'm no longer working for them. I'm hoping to, and sometime in the future once they get all that situated. But for right now, Black Sports Online is where I'm doing all of my extra content. If you guys want to support the channel, if you guys want to support me, go check out blacksportsonline.com. That's where I'm writing my articles, all things Saints, and everything extra on top of that, from basketball to baseball, even branching out to doing some movie stars. It's actually been pretty fun experience. The requirements haven't been as hectic as compared to, say, League of Justice, and I'm getting paid a pretty comfortably. I'll say that. I'm not gonna say how much. I'm getting paid very, very well. Thank you to Robert and Black Sports Online for giving me this opportunity. So please, guys, if you guys want to continue to support the channel, go support blacksportsonline.com and look for my name, which is going to be Aaron Davis. That is where you're going to find all of my articles going forward. It's simple, it's to the point of it. With that being said, my recent article I did was of Jameis Winston, and should the Saints continue to keep Jameis under contract, or should they move on from him? Should they release him from his contract so he can go to potentially greener pastures? I wrote that my answer was yes, because the Saints were doing him dirty. I will admit that when he first got here, I was not a fan of Jameis Winston. Knowing what he did in 2019, I was still learning the ins and outs of analyzing football. I was more opinionated than anything. I was a "what have you done for me lately" type of guy. I still am to a certain degree. He has won me over with his off the field work as much as his on the field work. How he's carried himself as a leader, and what I've seen in terms of potential as one of the best, potentially now, was one of the best quarterbacks in this league. Jameis Winston has been done dirty. When he got the nod in 2021, Jameis Winston was on course to have arguably his best statistical season in the National Football League. Jameis Winston only played 7 games in 2021, as most of you Saints fans know, before he suffered an injury to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that Halloween game. Since then, he has not held to standard, but in 2021, in those 7 games, Jameis Winston posted a 102.8 passer rating with a 1,170 yards, 14 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. Yes, 3. And that was under the final year of Sean Payton before he left for a year and got traded to the Broncos a couple months ago, or last month, however long it's been. That was the last time we've seen a healthy Winston, except of the first game of this year going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Jameis Winston didn't have Michael Thomas either, mind you. Michael Thomas had Marquez Callaway as his number 1, with a supporting cast like Deontay Hardy, a Traquan Smith, a Lil Jordan Humphrey, a Kenny Stills, and Kevin White to throw to. And he was still putting up efficient numbers through the first games. He was on his way to throw for over 4,500 yards, throw for over 30 touchdowns, and less than 10, maybe 10 to 12 interceptions as a whole. That's how efficient Jameis Winston has been, and I love that for him. Jameis Winston showed me, if not a lot of us, that he can be the guy going forward if given the opportunity. If he is not standing back there, getting beat up because offensive can't block water, can't block a brick wall. Jameis Winston in 2022. Let me go ahead and pull this real quick. Pull this up for you guys real quick. Well, this is what Jameis Winston did against the Atlanta Falcons this year. Jameis Winston versus Atlanta 2022. Now read this. Jameis Winston had a passer rating of 111. That's way above average. That's just above average. With 269 total passing yards and 2 touchdowns in the game against the Atlanta Falcons. He completed 23 of his 34 pass attempts. Saints fans, if you're a long-time Saints fan like I am, Jameis Winston completed the biggest comeback in Saints franchise history. Think about that, guys. He completed his comeback in franchise history with Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, and Jarvis Landry, that three-headed monster we were so excited about. That's the potential Jameis Winston gives you when you actually give him time in the pocket and not letting rushers go free through the A gap, rushers go free off the edge through the B gap. You're actually protecting him. Think about that. And lo and behold, he got injured that game. He hasn't been right since. 2022 is a year to forget in terms of Jameis Winston, but we know what Jameis Winston looks like when he's healthy. We know what he looks like when he's healthy. He's also going to battle through injury. He battled through a back injury and an ankle injury. He had fractures to his, I believe, his lumbar spine. 4 fractures in 4 different places. That's crazy. And he battled through an ankle injury. That's how tough Jameis Winston is. That's the type of guy Jameis Winston is. When Jameis Winston got pulled ahead of Week 4 in the international game against the Minnesota Vikings, he did not complain not one bit. And then Dennis Allen went to Andy Dalton, and you guys already know what that was like going forward from there. Andy Dalton was average at best. And I say that with so much doubt. Andy Dalton was, it was bad. It was average, but it was bad. The lack of mobility between Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston is just night and day. He's a statue in the pocket. Yeah, he can make a deep ball now and again. He definitely showed his age as well as his ass. Sorry for my language. When playing this season. He is a backup at this point of his career, which is not bad. He led a pretty good career up to this point, but he's not starting material. And now we know that. I do not want to see Andy Dalton anymore, but we're not talking about Andy Dalton. We're talking about the fact that they went with Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston. I would have wagered that a semi-healthy Jameis, who was going to be about 80%, 90%, by week 7, I would have taken that over Andy Dalton. Because what I saw from Dalton was it made me want to gouge my eyes out, especially against that Thursday night game against the Arizona Cardinals. 2 pick sixes back to back, 2. That's what you decided to put out there. That's what you decided to put out there, Dalton. Dalton was majority reason why Saints lost games they should have won. That second game against the Bucs, where Tom Brady led a comeback, only threw for 1 touchdown. The Arizona Cardinals, like I just said, he threw 2 pick sixes. If he did not throw those 2 pick sixes, the Saints would have won that game. By their total points at the end of the game, you take away Arizona's 14, they would have won by 7. A whole touchdown. That one's on Andy Dalton. I don't care what anybody says. Even if it was a tip pass by Marquez Callaway on the first one, it wasn't like, come on now. Let's think about that for a second. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Andy Dalton lost a game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Saints averaged, guys, do you know how many points the Saints averaged this year under Andy Dalton? Guess in the comments how many points the Saints averaged in 2022. Average points per game in 2022. Who can tell me? Spoiler alert. The Saints averaged less than 20 points per game in 2022. The Saints averaged 19.4 points per game in 2022. That is abysmal. That's way below league average. It is absolutely god-awful that we had to be subjected to that show. 19.4 points. You mean to tell me that's the best you can do with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, who came in midway through the season and proved to be a viable second option opposite of Chris Olave? That's the best you can do? Now, the offensive coordinator, Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen, they have no room for error this year. because they have a lot they have to answer for, and I mean a lot. I do mean a lot. But Jameis Winston should have gotten a nod at some point in the season. He would have won you at least 3. He would have won at least 2 games, maybe 3. He would have won you Pittsburgh. He would have won you Arizona. He would have won you Tampa Bay. That's 3 games right there. And guess what? The Saints were 7-10 this year. I know he wins against Tampa on the road in James Stadium. That's 8-9 right there. He would have won you Pittsburgh. And guess what? Now you're sitting at 9-8. He would have won you Arizona. He wouldn't have thrown 2 pick sixes. I guarantee that. And guess what? That puts you at 10-7. You are in the play. You are at least a wild card team with Jameis Winston in those 3 games. Dennis Allen was the least aggressive head coach this year. And I'm not kidding. You can go look that up yourself. I've talked to Jeff Noah, talked to John Hendricks, at least in part. I've looked at Nick Underhill's stories. I've looked at so many stories talking about Dennis Allen being the least aggressive. It was gut-wrenching. It confirmed why I lost faith in Dennis Allen throughout the year. The least aggressive. The least aggressive? Are you kidding me? Now, I will say this. New head coaches in their second years normally do better than in their first years. Rob is a good example of that. If he had a better quarterback, Zach Wilson is not doing it. If he had a better quarterback, they would have been seeing the wild card around because he put together a really, really good defense from pass rush to arguably one of the better corner duos, and Sauce Gardner and Darren Reed. They had a really good safety tandem. They had good linebacker play. They had really good offensive rookie and Garrett Wilson. They had a good running back in Breece Hall prior to injury, mind you, but he had a good running back. The Jets were in position. They just needed that quarterback position figured out. And now Robert Saleh knows that he is in a position to win right now. In a division where the Patriots aren't what they used to be, Tua Tagovailoa is looking like he is not going to progress any further than where he's at right now in his career, unfortunately, due to all concussions. So you're just battling against the Buffalo Bills in whatever schedule you got coming up. I do believe the Jets are going to see the postseason starting this fall. Around this time next year, I do believe the Jets are going to be seeing the postseason. That's how good Robert Saleh has been for the New York Jets. Now, I'm not saying Dennis Allen is Robert Saleh. I'm definitely not. They're 2 different people with different philosophies on how to go about things, obviously. But what I'm saying is Dennis Allen has a chance to correct his own mistakes. He's already starting to bring in his own guys, right? Bringing his own guys from coaching staff to personnel, so on and so forth. If he does better, then we'll have that conversation. For right now, as it stands, you cannot sit here and tell me that Jameis Winston is not a better option than Derek Carr. You can't tell me that. You can't tell any logical fan that. Now, I get it. Derek Carr is nothing to slouch at. He has the tools. He's definitely an upgrade over what you had with Andy Dalton. Definitely an upgrade over Andy Dalton, but not Jameis. Absolutely not. And if I'm Jameis and I'm looking at this, if they bring in Derek Carr, I will be asking for someone to release me out of my contract so I can go somewhere else. Because Jameis Winston should not be wasting another year of his prime sitting behind someone else holding the clipboard on the sideline. And there are many teams already that are in need of a starting caliber quarterback like Jameis. What teams are those, you might be asking? Well, the Las Vegas Raiders, who just lost Derek Carr, the Houston Texans, the Carolina Panthers, the Indianapolis Colts, who were entertaining the idea, the Washington Commanders, hell, even the Tampa Bay Bucks, they could entertain the idea of bringing Jameis back. the New York Jets, who I just talked about with Robert Saleh, the Seattle Seahawks with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Noah Fant, a really good tackle duo, and Charles Cross and his opposite guy on the right tackle. Really good O-line play. They got a good running back at Kenneth Walker. Their defense is going to be improved with Tariq Woolen commanding the secondary. Under Pete Carroll, that's a good situation for Jameis Winston to be in. I'd support that. The Detroit Lions, arguably the best option here. Dan Campbell finished the year for the Detroit Lions at 9-8. He gave them their first winning season in over 5 years. Their first winning season in over 5 years, people. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, looking like one of the best receivers in the league. Top 10. They got a really young offensive line, one of the best offensive lines in the game. They're looking at bringing back Jamal Williams. They got a really young D-line, spearheaded by Aiden Hutchinson, one of the best defensive rookies this year. Finished the year with 9.5 sacks. They got really good secondary play. They need to add a couple pieces there. But Dan Campbell, he's putting together something good. And with Aaron Rodgers potentially going out the door in Green Bay to be traded to the Jets maybe, that just leaves the Minnesota Vikings to contend with, because the Chicago Bears are a mess right now, and they're going to be a mess for at least another 2 years. Dan Campbell is ready to win right now, is putting the pieces together to win right now. If not now, then next year. Jameis Winston stepping into that situation with that O-line, with those weapons on the outside, spearheaded by a competent defense. Come on now. That's a wild card team right there. I'd go as far as to say the Lions with Jameis Winston could be vying for the NFC North title. That's how good they would be with Jameis Winston as opposed to Jared. And Jared Goff was pretty okay this year. He was pretty okay. He lost in some games, but he came back and finished strong. Jameis Winston adds you at least 2 extra games to your schedule. 2 extra dubs. Jameis Winston is that good. I'm not saying he's top 10, but he's competent enough to make sure you don't lose games because of a competent defense. Give him a scheme that's not finicky like we have, and watch him work. Just watch him work. It's simple as that. I'm tired of the disrespect that Jameis has been getting from NFL media, from our own team, from our own team. Like, I know I wanted Jameis to succeed here. I get that, but Dennis Allen showed you his hand. He showed you that he does not believe in Jameis whatsoever. If he believed in Jameis at all, we'd be seeing him as a starter this fall. But like I said though, I will give credit where it's due. The Saints are doing their due diligence. They can't afford to not look at some other pieces out there when it comes to addressing the biggest position in all sports. I get that. But for right now, as it stands, if you're trying to tell me that Derek Carr is better than Jameis Winston, I'm smelling. It's just ridiculous. Like, the fact that we even need to have this conversation is just pitiful. It's God pitiful. Let's go ahead and read up a little bit. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are awesome as always. Hope you guys are having a good evening. Hope you guys are watching the NFL Combine. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's read this first one here by Brian Pearson. Brian says the New Orleans Saints have 6 months to figure out who the quarterback is. We can talk about whatever is not going to change anything. I'm just saying, I'm not mad. We have no idea. It's up to the owner. I get what you're saying. It is up to the owner. I'm just saying that you cannot convince me. You cannot convince me while I'm sitting here in this chair looking at these two quarterbacks right now as it stands, and you're going to tell me that Derek Carr is better than Jameis Winston. You're not going to tell me that. You saw what could be when you actually keep him healthy and keep him protected in the pocket and not have guys running free through your A and B gaps, running free off the edge with no backside blocking. You can't tell me that if Jameis Winston in his healthiest prime right now is not better of an option than Derek Carr. You can't tell me that. You absolutely cannot tell me that. Even if McDaniel wasn't a really good coach this year, and it showed on the field with the Las Vegas Raiders, even with him, Derek Carr didn't look all that great. He missed throws he should have made. When he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's really bad. Really bad. Like, there's no way. Like, Jameis Carr. That's where I'm at with this. And if he comes in and he's named a starter over Jameis, which is going to waste another year of elite defensive play. Demario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan, David Onyemata, he gets brought back. Paulson Adebo. Need not go on. Carl Granderson. This defense is ready to win right now. And you got a quarterback who's just as hungry to win right now. You mean to tell me that you cannot win right now with Jameis Winston, but you can win with Derek Carr, who just showed you what he showed you? Meanwhile, you got Jameis who just gifted you your biggest comeback in franchise history when he's healthy. You can't tell me that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If we wait 6 months to figure out the QB situation, our season's already over. I agree. That comment right there, I agree with. Because understand this. You have to figure out not just your quarterback. You have to figure out what he does best, his tendencies, what he does bad at, how you can hide those. You have to figure out, his the tendencies. You have to figure out how to build around that kind of guy, what his leadership skills are like. You have to figure out a game plan. You have to figure out if you're going to be more of a play action team or an RPO team. You have to figure out if you're going to be a run first team. You have to figure out if you're going to be more of a team. And those things take time. Those things take time. Then you have to worry about chemistry with your quarterback and your skilled players. Jameis Winston at this point already has a good chemistry level with Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas. He has chemistries even with Rashid because he's been with them in practice. He knows, at least in part, what his tendencies are, what he can do, how he can stretch the field with Rashid. Those are things that Derek Carr is going to have to take time to do. And by the time he gets anywhere near comfortable, you're going to be about 4, 5, 6 games in. Now, you're going to have a pretty easy schedule because you came in third in your own division. But every game is going to be important because the Saints have no room for error. So while you're wasting 6 months trying to figure out how to best use your new quarterback, you are going to be already in the regular season. And that's games you're probably going to lose because you don't yet know what your quarterback can do. Even the fact that Derek Carr had Dennis Allen as his head coach in his rookie year, right? We get that. We get that. But during the time in Oakland, Derek Carr and Dennis Allen had a chemistry, right? During the rookie year. But that's only 1 year. Even if they kept up through contact. This is different. This isn't a young Derek Carr anymore. Jameis Winston is still in his prime. Derek Carr is coming out of his prime. What are we talking about here? Although that's 6 months that you're going to be spending trying to figure out the best use Carr, Jameis has already cleared that and then some. You know what he is. You know what he can do. You know his ceiling, which is much higher than Derek Carr. You know his floor, which is arguably just a little bit higher than Carr's. Come on now. Why waste all that time? But you got a guy sitting right here who's cheap, mind you, who is very cheap on a cheap deal, or at least for another season. But you're going to go find someone else in a year that you're believing is going to be win now in the division that's weak. Now, granted, Derek Carr would be the best quarterback in the NFC South if he did come here. But already, I believe Jameis is already the best quarterback in the South. Now, that's not a huge metric. That's not like a huge gap to go off of at this point. But still, Tom Brady's gone. He's still the best quarterback right now, on paper, on contract, in the NFC South. Because look at Jameis's competitors. Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota, gone. That's what the Falcons got. What about the Panthers? Sam Darnold, who you let kick your ass in this back-to-back games. Think about that for a second. The Panthers only completed 5 passes in the season ending. It's the season-ending game. Sam Darnold completed 5 passes. Was intercepted twice. And he beat y'all. Andy Dalton couldn't beat Sam Darnold with that kind of piss-poor play? Are you kidding me right now? The Saints were running up and down the field on him. Andy Dalton statistically was a little bit better, but he still couldn't put up more than 7 points. Are you kidding me? That's how Andy Dalton went out. That's the guy they chose over Jameis. Couldn't put up more than 7 points. Absolutely ridiculous. Ain't no way. The way DA did Jameis, it will come back to bite him in the end. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to laugh when he does. I'm going to laugh when he does, guys. I really didn't like how Denzel did Jameis Winston this past season. Neither did I. Dalton is ass. Oh, yeah, he's ass. In the words of Thugonomics John Cena, ass. Ass. Straight ass. Now, to his small defense, he's a veteran now. He's going to be a statue. What you've seen out of him prior to him coming to New Orleans, that's his ceiling. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's all you're getting out of him. And they knew that. And they still let him start. That's what pisses me off. I know I know how the business works in the NFL, but I feel some kind of way about us waiting on a player that's waiting on a team that's waiting on another player. We are on hold to be a backup plan. So that is true, but at the same time, look where Derek Carr is at. And at this point of his career, he's 32 years old. This is probably going to be the only time Derek Carr is going to receive any type of major deal. This is probably his last chance to get a serious payday. And if it doesn't work out, which is most likely won't, at least in my opinion, if it doesn't work out, then I would say at least he has generational wealth to fall back on and help support his family. It's like if you were in Derek Carr's position, you would want to maximize your chances of getting a big payday. So, of course, you want to win. Of course, you want to win. That's the reason why you're in the NFL. You want to win. You want to get to the big dance. You want to hoist that Lombardi. But at the same time, not everybody is going to be cut off for that. At some point, someone's going to want the bag and take care of their family. This is Derek Carr's last chance to get a bag. So it's frustrating. I wish he signed already, but at the same time, I get it. If Dalton is in the game in the fourth quarter, we will not win. Absolutely. Wherever Jameis ends up, I'll be rooting for him for all his games, even against the Saints, just on general purpose. Same. Like, I really like Jameis as a person and as a leader. Like, he made a believer out of me. I like what he's done. He deserves a fair shot. A fair shot. Better say it. I've been saying that about the old line since beginning of that petition. Jameis, absolutely. My boy Hoodie Jew, sir, congratulations. I hear your channel is doing amazing. I'm going to be coming back through there. I will be coming back through there, Hoodie Jew. Thank you so much for joining in, man. Guys, Hoodie Jew is now one of the best YouTubers in Saints media here. He got acknowledged by TJ, who's currently at the NFL Combine. Hoodie Jube is doing amazing work. If you guys don't know who Hoodie Jube is, look up that name right there. And go subscribe to him, please. Keep supporting my mans. Jube, you're amazing, bro. Thank you so much for what you've been doing for everybody. Please go subscribe, guys. It costs absolutely nothing to go support my mans. Go support my mans. All right, y'all. I know it's a short one, but that's it. That's all for today. I got another one lined up, so stay tuned. We're going to be talking about the Albert. We're going to be talking about a whole different type of stuff. That's going to be coming up in about a couple days to a week. Keep it locked right here. The subscribe button is free. Subscribe button is right there. Let's get our numbers back up, please. That like button, please hit that like button while you're at it. Helps the algorithm. The more you guys support me, guys, the more you support the website that I'm working at. Hey, the more content I'll get to do. It's simple as that. I am influenced by you guys. You guys brought me back. You guys want to be better. So I want to continue doing more. So it would do me a serious honor if you guys supported me. Support Black Sports Online. It costs nothing. You don't have to subscribe or anything. Just look up Black Sports Online and look for articles. Aaron Davis. If you're confused, just look up Davis. Then you'll find my stuff. Share my stuff around to your friends. The more viewers I get from my articles, the more I get paid. Simple as that. The more viewers, the more I get paid. Look out for more content coming up on my phone. I got one video already in the works. I got an editing app on my phone here. Actually a really good app. So they got a lot of stuff lined up. I need you guys' support. I love doing this. I absolutely love doing this. So look out for all that. Look out for the next live stream to come up as the NFL draft is coming up really quickly upon us. Last thing, I am looking to do a watch party for the NFL draft this year. If you are a Saints content creator, I don't care if you're small time or big time. I don't care if you're small time or big time. If you are a Saints content creator and you want to do a watch party with your boy here, Hudak Davis, let me know. Let me know right now. I would love to do a collab. I'd love to bring you guys right here on this channel so we could do a watch party together. I got my whole TV right here. You know what I'm saying? New TV. I love to do a watch party. If you create content of any type, small time, big time, let me know. I would love to do a watch party collab with you. So Hoodie Jew, Smoke, TJ, Q, if you guys are up for it, please let me know. Guys, if you guys know any of those guys, let me know so I can get this whole thing started, get the whole thing set up. The sooner I know, the better. I think it'll be really fun. We did this last year. Did it right here on my channel with Smoke and Hoodie. I went crazy about it. It's going to be really fun. You want to do a watch party with your boy Hudak Davis this year for the NFL draft? You let me know. Let me know on my social media. You can comment down on this live stream after it's over in the comment section. You can let me know on Twitter. You let me know on my Instagram. Let me know on my Facebook page. Let's get it up. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, man. I'm excited. The draft, man. I'm excited. All right, y'all. That's it for today. I got one more story I need to do on the site before I can hang it up and enjoy the rest of my evening. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Look out for that next video concerning Alvin Kamara and his case. Not looking good. Not looking good for AK. But we're going to be talking about him and the running back room. So keep it locked here. Until next time, as always, if you guys don't know, you will know that over here, we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. I will see you guys next time. Take care.